Everybody, peace. Welcome to the Started Broadly Basketball Show. Wherever or however you're listening, we're so grateful to have you with us. As you guys know, I'm Sean Cottle, and listen, we've got some exciting coverage we're going to be doing today coming from the WNBA, and we're going to be covering one game in particular, and it's from the series that I think is the most exciting series we're going to see in the WNBA playoffs, including the WNBA finals, regardless of which teams will be playing in the finals. But it's a semifinals matchup between the Phoenix Mercury and the Minnesota Lynx. As you guys know, it was an epic Game 2 performance put on by both teams, in particular the Phoenix Mercury, who came back from a double-digit deficit in the fourth quarter to defeat the Minnesota Lynx in overtime by a score of 89-83 to tie up the series at one game apiece, going back to, first and foremost, guys, no question in my mind, it will go 5 games. It will go the distance. In my opinion, in my perspective, right now, obviously, the Minnesota Lynx have the best record in WNBA, and Phoenix is a team who I've said from the very beginning, when healthy, in my perspective, is the best team in the WNBA, just in terms of talent level with Kalia Copper and Satu Sabally and Alyssa Thomas, and now with the addition of Dewana Bonner, and with the rookie Monika Kamakani starting the point guard position, and then you still have Kat Westbrook and Semi Whitcomb, and as well as a plethora of shooting and scoring coming off the bench. So the issue and the reason why Phoenix didn't garner that much attention and that much notoriety over the course of the season was because of injuries. Kalia Copper missed quite a few games. Satu Sabally missed a couple of games as well as Alyssa Thomas. So that core three of Sabally and Copper and Thomas, if I'm not mistaken, only played a combined total of games of 10 or 11 games, if that. If I'm wrong about that, one of you guys correct me. So Phoenix never really got a chance to show their true core and their entire roster on display. And despite that, Nate Tibbetts still did an excellent job of coaching them and utilizing the pieces he had on his roster by utilizing rookies like Sammy Whitcomb and Kat Westbrook, allowing them to gain more playing time over the course of the season and using them to help Phoenix. And now with those rookies, those two in particular, they've garnered enough confidence over the course of the season by playing. Now the stage of the WNBA playoffs is not too big for them. It's just like another game for these rookies. So now that's why they look like veterans. That's why they look so composed and poised, and they're willing and able to make the right play and the right decision when on the court. And that is why Phoenix is in the position that they're in. And Phoenix has done something, and they show the blueprint for how to beat Minnesota. Something that Minnesota has done quite well over the course of the season is obviously their shooting, three-point shooting offensively. And they do a great job of cutting. Everyone does a great job of cutting to the basket, filling their cuts, completing their cuts. And the ball does a great job of not sticking within the offense for Minnesota. But something that Minnesota does defensively is they like to blitz. They like to hard hedge on those ball screens, and they like to do a lot of trapping on the guards, especially on side ball screens from the wing. What Phoenix does an excellent job of doing, though, is slipping that ball screen while leaving a shooter in the corner at all times. If you think about teams that gave Minnesota trouble over the course of the season, teams like Atlanta and Indiana and even Phoenix, even though they didn't have Kalia Copper for all three of those games, those matchups, all three of those teams did a great job of leaving shooters in the corner while still having that big slip on that ball, on that hard hedge, and keeping Minnesota accountable with that shooting. And so that's what Phoenix did a great job of doing in game 2. On that hard hedge, they would have either Thomas or Natasha Mack, or even Dewana Bonner, Kat Westbrook, whoever setting that ball screen would slip right away to prevent the trap, and off that slip, hit the big on the roll or on the slip, and then hit the corner right away, the shooter, and in that corner would either be Sabally or Whitcomb, or even Copper, any guard with the capability of shooting and not shooting, penetrating to create more advantage for the offense. And so while watching the game, that's something I noticed from Phoenix. They did an excellent job of doing, and I won't be surprised if other teams start to, well, if Minnesota manages to make it past past Phoenix and make it to the WNBA Finals. Whoever they match up with in the WNBA Finals, I can guarantee you, is looking at the film, will have seen that. And that's one thing that Phoenix did a great job of exposing Minnesota with. And something else that Minnesota did a great job of, that Phoenix did a great job of doing, and you can done by Phoenix or the 3-point line. If we look at the numbers, Minnesota shot 728 from the 3-point line, 25%. We know that Minnesota has been one of the better 3-point teams in the WNBA over the course of the season. But Phoenix did a great job of running them off the line and forcing them to take mid-range jumpers and forcing them to get to the bucket. Though those are all things that Minnesota already does a great job of doing, Phoenix told themselves defensively, we can't allow them to get that many threes off. And they did a great job of contesting players like Kayla McBride and Bridget Carlton and even Courtney Williams. Even though Courtney Williams is a player that doesn't shoot a lot of threes, they still forced her to go into her mid-range, which you could argue she's the best mid-range shooter in the league, so that wasn't that big of an issue for her. But a player like Bridget Carlton, who for Minnesota played 41 minutes, shot 0 for 7 from the field, 0 for 5 from the 3-point line, you could argue, well, that's a blip that never happens, or you could say that it's something that Phoenix did defensively, and I think that's more so what it was. And Phoenix is in real time writing out the blueprint for what it takes to beat Minnesota, and like I said, it's keeping them honest on those hard hedges, running them off the 3-point line, but also being physical with them. If you notice, Phoenix did a great job of being physical with Bridget Carlton and Alana Smith, and it forced them to be uncomfortable. Even a bigger guard like Kayla McBride was uncomfortable at times due to the physicality, and that's also understanding the refs. Both teams shot a combined 24 free throws throughout the game. Phoenix shot 13 free throws in total. Minnesota shot 8. So there's the understanding too as well that the refs aren't going to call that many calls, especially in a playoff series like this. So players know, coaches know that, hey, we can be more physical. And so I can guarantee you that Nate Tibbetts told his players during pregame, during timeouts, to be physical with them because the refs aren't making that many calls. And Nafisa Collier had, in 38 minutes, shot 10-22 from the field, had 24 points. And Kayla McBride also did have 21 points, but like I said, though, you could tell the physicality of the game was getting to her a little bit. And Courtney Williams obviously had 20 points. And it's a very interesting dynamic that Phoenix has shown in order for them to beat Minnesota. And we know that Minnesota likes to go 10, 11 deep, and that's what they did today. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. They went 8 deep today, but they normally tend to go 9 or 10 deep due to the style of play that they like to run. But Phoenix, I believe, has shown the blueprint. And if you're Minnesota, there is a bit of cause for concern going back to Phoenix. I am not surprised by this, though. I believe Phoenix is the best team in the WNBA, and I've been saying that all year, and I'm not going to change my mind. And I do believe this series is going to go 5 games, but this win in particular, and the way in which it happened, in which Phoenix came back in double digits in the fourth quarter to securely and convincingly win in overtime, shows me that Phoenix now has the mental edge over Minnesota, and now they're saying to themselves, we know we're the better team. We've seen ourselves win on the road in Minnesota in a tough environment. Now the ball's in our court. We're going back to our home court in Phoenix, There's no question we are the better team. And so now Phoenix has all the confidence in the world to take control and take advantage of this series. And there's no doubt in my mind, I won't be surprised at all when Phoenix wins this series and advances to the WNBA Finals. With that being said, guys, that is it for our show for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a wonderful show. Let me know what you guys think. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Has Phoenix securely taken control of this series? Or is Minnesota still in the driver's seat? Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button.